A very good evening to you and welcome to Primetime News, coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. I'm Krishan Devasagayam.
And I'm Rahna Farooq.
කොමිෂන් එන්න ඕන. මෙහෙම නිලධාරි ඉන්න ඕන. නීතිපති දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවේ නිලධාරියෝ ඔහම කොන්ද ඇතුව ප්‍රශ්න කරන්නට ඕන. බොහොම හොඳයි. ඒකට තරහතිනම වැඩක් නැහැ ප්‍රශ්න කරන්න. හොරකම් කරා නම් ලොකු එකක් හොරා පොඩි එකක් හොරා කෝකත් හොරාමයි.
Those views were expressed by State Minister Palitharanga Bandara on the importance of taking action against those found guilty of large-scale fraud and corruption. We have more on that story during the bulletin, but first, a look at tonight's headlines. Vice Admiral Travis Anaya appointed as the new Navy commander. Who is the steel manufacturer who misused government tax holidays? The chairman and a member of the cabinet-appointed Standing Procurement Committee resign. Auditor General reveals that delays in the National Audit Bill has caused conflicts at the Audit Commission. Ryan Jailath remanded after surrendering to court. The Disaster Management Centre issued a weather advisory for the next 24 hours. According to the advisory, the Sabragamuwa province, the Kalutara, Gaul and Matara districts will experience over 100 millimetres of rain in the next 24 hours. The sea areas from Hambantota to Batiklo from Potuville will experience wind speeds of between 60 to 70 kilometres per hour. The fishing and naval communities in those areas have been requested to be vigilant due to this situation.
Vice Admiral Travis Anaya has been appointed as the 22nd Commander of the Sri Lanka Navy by President Maithripala Sirisena.
Travis Anaya, who has a long and prestigious service record, was previously posted as the commander of the Eastern Naval Area. A product of Trinity College, Kandy, Anaya joined the Sri Lanka Navy in 1982 as a cadet officer and was selected to attend the British Royal Naval College in Dartmouth. Vice Admiral Travis Anaya played an important role during the conflict when it came to destroying LTTE vessels and seizing them on behalf of the Sri Lanka Navy. He was the commander of the Fast Attack Flotilla of the Sri Lanka Navy at that time. Travis Anaya has been awarded a number of medals, including the Uttama Seva Medal.
Former Navy Commander Vice Admiral Ravindra Wijegunaratne was appointed as the new Chief of Defence Staff today. He will replace Krishantha De Silva, who retires from the position. The appointments will come into effect from the 22nd of August.
Auditor General Gamini Vijayasinghe claims that the National Audit Commission is in a defunct state due to delays in passing the National Audit Bill. Former Auditor General Sarath Mayadunna made some remarks on the matter as well during a media briefing held today.
According to the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, legal provisions for the National Audit Commission to function must be passed in Parliament. The National Audit Act has been prepared. However, it is yet to reach Parliament for approval. Auditor General Gamini Vijayasinghe says there are objections towards the bill solely because of the provisions for a surcharge.
A surcharge is introduced to reclaim any losses caused to the government following any decision that is made by a public servant or anyone for that matter. We simply do not understand why anyone would be against this. If we take a look at the past 2 or 3 decades, if any form of misuse, corruption or fraud had taken place in the public sector, a chief accounting officer is involved somewhere down the line. If the surcharge responsibility is given to the same person, we have doubts if it will be carried out properly. This task must be given to a qualified person. If there is a transaction that is against the law, and if that has resulted in corruption, fraud or misuse, and if that had violated the audit law, The surcharge must be imposed by the Auditor General based on justifiable reasons. If this bill is not brought forward, the Auditor General's department cannot function any further. For example, there needs to be 15 Deputy Auditor Generals in the department, but we have only one. There is view that the surcharge is something that is done by the Auditor General's department and the Auditor General. However, there is no such thing. The Auditor General is only issuing a certificate for this purpose and directs it to the Chief Accounting Officer of the institution in question to reclaim the losses. The bill clearly states on what happens to those funds. The funds must be deposited to the joint fund. We have received information that several Chief Accounting Officers are against this bill. This bill has been presented to the Cabinet. Several ministers have requested time to file their objections to this bill. The bills have reached the stage where it needs to be published in a gazette. If not, there should be a decision that this bill must not be introduced. This will give us a peace of mind. At present, I cannot carry this department forward.
When the Treasury bond scam took place, the Prime Minister intervened to appoint a 3-member committee which prepared a report. As there was no progress on the matter, the President decided to appoint a Presidential Commission of Inquiry. As a result, the true nature of the scam and new information about those connected have been exposed.
දෙයක් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට ඉදිරිපත් කරනවා නම් ඒක ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න ඕනේ ජනාධිපතිවරයා හරහා. ජනාධිපතිවරයා තමයි එතනදී ව්‍යවස්ථානුකූලව අපේ කාර්ය කරන්නේ ජනාධිපති ලේකම් කාර්යාලය හරහා ජනාධිපතිවරයා. ඒක ඇසෙට් කරනවා කියලා ඒකේ බලය එය කරන්න ඉටු කිරීමේ වගකීම අග්‍රාමාත්‍ය ලේකම්වරයාට පවරලා කැබිනට් සංදේශයක් තියෙනවා.
So does that mean that the Prime Minister has accepted a task that should have been done by someone else?
Correct. I cannot comment on why such a decision was made. Only they would know the answer. That is what happened. It has been 2.5 years and it is a broken promise.
According to the chairman of the Audit Services Association, a delay has been caused as the Prime Minister has taken over the task of preparing the audit bill. In the same manner, the bond scam was investigated when it was exposed. If this is so, is this not the time to intervene to secure the good governance promises made to the people? Mr. President, for your attention.
There is a fear if the Auditor General is vested with the surcharge power, surcharge certificates will be issued on all the actions that took place against the law and that are to take place in the future. Therefore, the groups that engaged in fraud in the past, those who are committing wrongs at present, and those who are doing so while dreaming of coming back into power are all afraid of this.
Tilak Marapana assumed duties as the new Minister of Foreign Affairs today.
Tilak Marapana assumed duties following an event held at the Foreign Ministry this morning. Marapana was appointed as the Foreign Minister after his predecessor Ravikarna Anaya resigned from the post. There are many ambassadors and high commissioners. You should stop and think whether they are doing their duty and what is expected of them. Around 37 of them are dual citizens. From experience, I can tell you that whenever something happens to one of our own, our embassies never look into them. Don't turn embassies into elders' homes. We don't know how long you will stay in this position. Please take the time to create a code of ethics for our diplomatic corps. What happens to the country's image if one of our diplomatic vehicles carrying our national flag is spotted outside a bar or a brothel?
I'm very happy. Though of course the circumstances under which I came to accept this office is not very conducive, and I have some feelings about it. Nonetheless, it is with a great sense of humility and responsibility that I accept this office. Being mindful of the importance that this ministry has to perform in regard to our matters in Sri Lanka, because unless we project a correct image of our country to the foreign world, we will not be able to achieve the results that we really want to achieve. If we want investments to come in, if we want tourism to flourish, then we have to show that we are a very responsible country. We take our human rights issues very seriously, and we don't want to discriminate any country. As the Venerable Theo said, there are shortcomings. It's our duty to see that those shortcomings are addressed. And I hope that even if I remain here for a short time, that during that short period, I will make every endeavor to make our foreign service ministry and our embassies more productive and conducive towards the development of our country.
The National Lotteries Board and the Development Lotteries Board have been reverted back to the Ministry of Finance. An extraordinary Gazette notification was issued in this regard today, bearing the signature of President Maithripala Sirisena. When former Minister Ravikarna Anaya was appointed as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the National Lotteries Board and the Development Lotteries Board were assigned to the Foreign Ministry.
Speaking in Anamaduwa today, State Minister Palitharange Bandara says that the thieves are being exposed through the details that are being revealed at the Bond Commission.
President Maithripala Sirisena appointed commissions for the required cases. He appointed one for the bond scam. Whoever it is that robs, they must be caught. If they cannot be punished, if they have slipped through the hands of the law, they must be revealed so that the people are aware and the people realize that something is being done. The people know who the thieves are, but no one knows what happened to the 1.75 billion rupees of perpetual treasuries. If we lose 1,750 rupees at home, it will be a big deal. The CEO says he does not know what happened. These are all just games. The commissions need to be established. The officials need to be present. The officials of the Attorney General's department should interrogate with a strong backbone. The position does not matter. They should be questioned. If someone has robbed, their position does not matter. Big or small, a thief is a thief.
State Minister Lakshman Yapa spoke of the losses suffered by the country due to the bond scam.
When we spoke of the losses suffered, they said various things against us. I say even today that we have suffered losses of over ₹1 trillion. The report provided to the central bank by Perpetual Treasuries says that they amassed a profit of 25 billion between 2015 and 2016. The interest rates at the CBSL have risen to a value of between 4 and 6%. The banking interest rates have increased from 10% to a value of between 22 to 24%. With this increase of interest rates, there will be no one to invest in the country. You cannot bring local or international investments at this interest rate. Why have the investments reduced? When I stepped down as the minister in charge of the BOI, there was 1.8 billion. They have been unable to earn at least $1 billion as at the end of last year.
Yesterday, News First brought to you details of the power crisis that could arise due to the failure to create new power plants. The situation has now worsened because of complications that have arisen in selecting a company to develop the proposed Keravalapitia power plant, which is to add a further 300 megawatts to the national grid. Meanwhile, it was reported today that the chairman as well as a member of the cabinet-appointed Standing Procurement Committee, which was considering the tenders for the power plant, have resigned from their positions.
The cabinet appointed a 5-member procurement committee in order to ensure transparency in large-scale government tenders. The final decision on any tender is reached by this committee based on the recommendations presented to it by the Technical Evaluation Committee. The tender process for the 300 megawatt Keravalapitia power plant commenced with the understanding that the project will start with diesel power before phasing into LNG. 8 companies presented bids for this project, of which 6 were shortlisted, taking into account the technical assessment. Of the shortlisted companies, the bid of only one company was opened. However, due to the opposition against the manner in which operations were handled, a decision was reached to disregard this bid last week.
The technical committee worked on this for months and created the tender documents. There was a competitive bidding process adopted. After considering the 8 bids that were received, a decision was reached that 6 bids were up to the technical specifications and the green light was given to open these bids. However, they disregarded the advice of the technical committee and decided to open only one bid. The bid that they opened is the one which has the least compliance with our technical specifications.
Secretary to the Ministry of Power and Energy, Dr. Suren Batagoda, who is also a member of the Cabinet-appointed Procurement Committee, accepted that there are discrepancies in the reports compiled by the Tender Committee and the Technical Committee. However, Dr. Batagoda notes that bids for the tender will not be called for once again. He noted that an agreement had been reached to open the tenders of the 5 other shortlisted companies.
They have messed up this tender. If this power plant is not built, there will definitely be power cuts by 2019 and 2020. This responsibility should be borne by the Cabinet-appointed Tender Committee. The Cabinet still has the power to make a decision on this. If they start the tender process again, it will take up to a year. There are a number of forces behind this.
The chairman and a member of the Cabinet-appointed Standing Procurement Committee resigned from their positions today. Dr. Suren Batagoda noted that the resignation of Committee Chairman G.S. Vithanage has been notified to the Secretary to the Ministry of Finance. In addition, Director of Finance of the Sri Lanka Air Force, J.R.L. Basanta, who served as a member on this committee, has also resigned from his position.
If 8 companies have placed bids, an opportunity should be given to all these companies to place their bids once again. There shouldn't be anyone who is excluded. They could just say what the changes are and tell the companies to reapply. They appoint numerous committees and consider their decisions and change decisions. All this takes time. In the end, what will happen is we won't be able to meet the energy requirements and we will have to bring back diesel generators for the short term from the private sector. The government may say they will bear the cost for the diesel and will not pass it on to the consumers. However, the government runs on public funds, so it must be added to the electricity bill or it will take the form of a tax. Instead of working according to the needs of the country, they are continuing to delay this agreement in order to get commissions for themselves. They should stop pulling this down and get this done according to a clear tender process.
The former chairman of the Board of Investment, President's Council, Upul Jayasuriya, says that certain companies are misusing the tax concessions that are granted by the government. He says that the current government too has failed to take the relevant steps regarding it. The Ceylon Steel Corporation Limited entered into a supplementary agreement with the Board of Investment in June 2011 under the Strategic Development Projects Act. Thereby, a 10-year tax holiday was granted and a partial exemption was granted to the company equivalent to half of the applicable tax rate prevalent at the time for each year of assessment for a further period of 5 years immediately succeeding the last date of the 10-year tax holiday period. In addition, the capital goods and construction items required for the project were exempted from the Port and Airport Development Levy during the project implementation period of 5 years. It was revealed that the steel corporation that was operating with many such tax exemptions and holidays have not acted in line with the initial agreement reached with the BOI. Issuing a letter to the chairman of the BOI on the 3rd of July this year, the Steel Manufacturers Association of Sri Lanka, consisting of other steel manufacturing companies, stated that one company receiving these tax exemptions and an exemption from the Port and Airport Development Levy when importing goods is not fair. Considering these factors, the Board of Directors at the BOI presented a document to remove the tax exemptions.
The agreement had been reached under 2 conditions. One is that an $80 million investment should be made. The second condition is that the import quantity should be reduced to $125 million by 2016. We had received several complaints regarding this. We held an investigation. We were able to see that $125 million had not been saved in the country. In truth, only $11 million were remaining. Then the agreement had been violated. Based on my instructions, a recommendation was made to the Board of Directors to suspend the agreement with this company.
බලපෑමක් එන්නේ නැති කියලා අපිට හිතනවා නිකන්. අයින් වෙන්න කියලා හෝ නොකිය හෝ මට හිතෙනවා එහෙනම් ඔබතුමා
I think by your silence we can understand that there had been some form of pressure for you to resign. This is surprising. You came on behalf of good governance.
During my tenure, I have taken the steps that need to be taken at all times according to my conscience and according to the proper legal framework. I can say that fearlessly.
But when you were not able to work in line with your conscience, you resigned?
You can say that. If this particular agreement was cancelled, the amount of tax that should have been paid to the government is about 500 to 600 million rupees.
This clearly shows that the people who had allegations against them for carrying out deals with the previous government are engaging in deals with the politicians of this government as well.
අපි ප්‍රේක්ෂකයන්ට බාර කරනවා සත්‍ය සටහන බුද්ධියේ විමසුම වෙනුවෙන්.
Appearing on the Satana political program on our sister channel Sirasa TV today, Deputy Minister Ajit P. Pereira commented on Minister Wijayadasa Rajapaksa and the discussions that took place at the UNP Working Committee meeting held yesterday.
I heard the motion. It stated that since he has not fulfilled his responsibilities, the working committee and the parliamentary group has lost their confidence in him. That means we have no faith in him. The Prime Minister will have a discussion with the President and reach a decision on what should be done in this instance when there is a lot of suspicion. Will a decision be taken to remove him? There wasn't anyone who spoke on behalf of him. Other leaders have set an example before. Gamini Jayasuriya was against the 13th Amendment, so he resigned. Ronnie DeMail had a clash of ideals with J.R. Jayawardena and he resigned. I don't think he has any other option.
The Newsfirst's national campaign titled Sri Lanka Against Corruption was carried out across 2 districts today.
The former government robbed. The former president also robbed. The biggest thieves are the MPs. They are spending the people's money. This system should be abolished. There is no point in resigning. The rest should also be done. The people of Avisavella raised their voices against the rampant corruption in the country. The people were informed about the Sri Lanka Against Corruption campaign at the Ruanvella bus stand as well. Another Newsfirst team toured the Batiklo district, informing the people to unite against the corruption and malpractices that are happening in our own country. They travelled in the Kalladi and Kathankudi villages today. They have not developed a single road or a single school in Batiklo. They are all lying. They bring in the corruption and earn money for their families. They become rich with our tax money. There is no relief for the public. There will never be a solution to all these robberies. They should be punished.
Ryan Jayalat, the convener of the Medical Faculty Students Action Committee, was remanded today until the 23rd of this month. The order was issued by the Maligakhanda Magistrates Court.
Ryan Jayalat was summoned before court pertaining to a case that had been filed against him under the Public Property Act for the damages that were caused to the Ministry of Health during a protest held recently. Warrants were issued to 5 people, including Ryan Jayalat, for failing to appear before court on the 10th of this month. Presenting a motion through his lawyers, Ryan Jayalat surrendered before the Maligakhanda Magistrates Court today.
In more local news, Minister Sajith Premadasa laid the foundation stone for the construction of a new bridge in Panne Gamuatisa Maharama. The bridge is being constructed at a cost of 13.4 million rupees and is being carried out under the Samata Sarana program.
Vimal Veeravansa says that the present government is a failure and a disgrace to the motherland. I am ashamed to recall the fraud that took place at the housing ministry before. Everything was distributed among his relatives and close associates. These have been revealed in Parliament. Vimal Veeravansa was not even present in the House when the expenditure heads of the Ministry of Housing were being debated. The irregularities and corruption during their regime is infinite. But he is trying to say that our government is a disgrace to the motherland.
A photography exhibition under the title Heta Dakina Ranil was declared open at the premises of the Bandaranayake Memorial International Conference Hall yesterday. Under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena, the exhibition is being held marking the 40th anniversary of the Prime Minister's career in Parliament. Former President Chandrika Bandaranayake Kumarathunga also attended the opening ceremony yesterday.
As the announcer mentioned, I have known Honorable Ranil Wickramasinghe from the time he was a young boy. As we say in Sinhala slang, from his junkie days. I still cannot understand or comprehend how two people, I must say there was no personal animosity at all as far as I know from both sides, but how two leaders who were so much in opposition against each other and decide to work together. I must salute Mr. Wickramasinghe for the extreme sacrifices he made during that exercise, for the success of that operation.
Speaker Karuja Surya and several senior and junior members of the United National Party, as well as the general public, attended the exhibition today. The exhibition will be held until the 20th of this month and will be open to the public daily from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
That's the wrap for Primetime News. For the News First team, I'm Rakhna Farooq.
And I'm Krishan Devasagan. It was a pleasure having you with us. Take care. Good night.